Hey, Nick Fundytus here, and this is Nick Answers Reddit. I'm here with my co-op student Will this week, and today's question on Reddit on the U real estate or the R real estate thread there is how much does a ravine or a green space at the back of a home boost a property's value versus comparables? So context in this one is that this home backs onto trees with a walking path and a stream, so there's no chance of future development. That's a really important point to make because often you will see homes listed where it says no rear neighbors, but it's clearly just a field or like a grassy area that the developer hasn't gotten to yet, and there will be homes there. I've even seen in the west end of our city where a golf course, where I'm sure people paid tens of thousands of premium to buy those lots when they first bought the homes, that golf course is being torn up and more houses are being put in. So I'm sure there's some really annoyed and upset owners that they feel like they were told one thing and delivered another. But this particular one with a ravine where it's pretty difficult to develop, plus it's a nice drainage area. A ravine is typically a drainage basin for a neighborhood, which is important, is pretty much an ideal situation. So the politician's answer here is it depends. It always depends on a lot of things. Valuation of a home is not an exact science. There's a little bit of art to it as well. And there are, just because there's a ton of variables in it. The guesstimate here is probably it's going to add about 5 to 10% premium, but that can vary a lot. So number one, some things you might be considering is just how big the lot is. So how much of the lot backs onto this green space. How accessible is it? So is it something where it actually kind of provides extra utility to the property? Like, is there a gate in the back where you can go jump straight out on a walking path? That's great if you have a dog or something like that you can go just jump out on the walking path and go for a hike. Is the green space maintained, or is it wild and potentially, someplace that's going to get buggy and mosquito-y, or, are you going to get coyotes running in the back, depending on where this area is? So that's something to consider too. How heavily traveled is the walking path? So if you have a walking path right behind your chain link fence in the back and people are constantly walking on it, it makes your private lot not terribly private. Are there any other nuisances that might negate the bonus of it? So we have some areas in Ottawa here where there's a big green space, but the green space is really just a buffer between the houses and a busy road or a highway behind. So when you have constant traffic noise, that takes away a lot of the benefit of having that green space behind you, because ideally a green space is going to be a quiet place. It's something where you can kind of feel that you're in nature. You can kind of escape the city for even just a short little bit. And then what are you comparing it to? Of course, is it 5% versus extra 5% versus the house that's across the street that's identical, has the exact same lot, and just happens to back onto other houses? Or are there factors on the other side of the street that would make those more or less of a nuisance? Is there a playground nearby? Does the ones across the street back onto a school, for example? Those are all things that you have to take into account. So if you're a realtor, you have access to these things. If the poster is a realtor here, if the poster is not a realtor, these are good things to ask your realtor, because they can pull up all the sold records and give you those kind of factors. It's in your interest to not blindly price a house and really dig into those ideas and know if you overprice, your house is going to sit, you're going to miss the right buyer. If you underprice, you're really potentially missing out on some of the value of your home when you sell it that you could have realized if you had priced it appropriately. So those are my thoughts. That is Nick Answers Reddit for this week. I am a realtor in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and I love answering questions for my clients and for here on Reddit. So any questions that you have, you're welcome to send them my way. My contact details are all below. Thanks.